Season 5 is right around the corner, and with Season 5, all the players are getting a first look at the 5v5 game mode. Last night, the arena creators got a early access look at it, and we got to play it. I can access it right now, and we're going to jump in. I'm going to give you all the details about the whole new 5v5 system coming into the game, the new game type, all of the heroes, what all of their second abilities do, everything you need to know. This is the full guide for it. So let's jump into it. I'm going to show you guys everything that I've discovered so far with 5v5. Let's do it. Now, 5v5 is going to be a new sort of game type. It's kind of like a lab, if you will, and it's going to be tested, and they're going to kind of refine things as we go along, and as we start to do more 5v5s, they're going to kind of refine it and readjust everything. So this is going to be a completely separate sort of like meta. They have a lot of different hero changes. Couple of the heroes play differently, different ammo capacities, their guns work differently, different things like that. So this is a completely separate meta from the 3v3, the normal thing that we know. The first thing you need to know is you do need 600 trophies in order to play 5v5. So over on the test account, Jordy Goes Test, I did get to the 600 trophies. We were able to jump in and check it out. As for the menu, if you come over here, this looks a little different. You kind of notice, this is all your casual game types. And then you have your 5v5 right here, and then training grounds. So the 5v5 game mode, this is what the icon looks like. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's 5v5. There's going to be 2 different game types that we're going to be able to play. And I can actually show you that in this information right here. This is going to be the first event that we're going to get. It's called the 5v5 Domination. And it is basically the first event that kind of introduces us into 5v5. That is also where we're going to get that really cool Valentine's themed, that love themed Ruby skin, as well as, some resources and whatnot in the game. So as you play and as you progress through that event, you'll be obtaining just more and more resources, eventually leading up to that Ruby skin. But if we come over here and we click on this, you can actually see that we're going to be able to be playing Control Extended as well as Payload Extended. And there's only 3 maps included with 5v5 so far. So we have Emmental for the control map, and then we have both RAWR Dock and the Giga Cave Mines for Payload Extended. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to show you guys everything as far as all the heroes are concerned, and some gameplay along the way of each hero and all of their second abilities and whatnot. So let's jump in. I'm going to just jump into a private match so we can just kind of see each hero as they are. And we're just going to do the control game type on Emmental. So let's jump over there real quick. All right, so here we are in the actual character selection screen. You guys know how this all works. This is very similar to like ranked mode. The only 11 heroes we're going to be able to play with are these on screen, and each one of these heroes has that second ability. So let's start with Aletta. Let's go check her out. Let's see what she does. But honestly, 5v5 has been super fun. I've been playing it for a few hours, kind of getting all the footage for this video. And it is actually like completely different. It is such a good time. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with it when it comes out with Season 5's launch. But it's very different. Very, very different. So the first off, you can see when you're in the actual spawn rooms, regardless of which side, you are able to change heroes at any given time. The other 4 heroes on your team, they will have that little like blue border around them saying that you can't pick those heroes. So you can't have like 5 victors or anything like that. So if one of your teammates has one of the heroes selected, you're not going to be able to use that hero. But inside this room, whether I just come back to spawn or I die and have to respawn, those are the 2 times where you can change your heroes. So that's, I think, really cool, really interesting. It's going to shake up like different metas and different like team comps, and you can switch at any time during the match. So I think that's really cool. It's really interesting. We're going to go over each character, and we're just going to go in order. So like I said, let's start with Aletta. And as you can see right here under, oh, you know what? I'm in the way. Let me hide myself real fast so you can see. Right here on screen, you can see that I have a new little ability icon. And basically what each ability does just depends on the hero. So let me bring myself back up here. So Aletta, we all know Aletta. She does her little dashes. She does her little things. But when you click that ability, she kind of goes through like a portal, and she'll teleport back 3 seconds in the past, if you will. It's almost kind of like time travel. And wherever she was as far as health is concerned during that 3 seconds in the past is what health she'll have. So if you're coming around a corner and you're fighting someone and you get like a body shot by an Osos or whatever, and you teleport back and say you come back over here, then your health will go back up depending on where you were 3 seconds ago. So it's another dimension you have to think about with Aletta, which I think is actually really interesting. And it's just something different. It's different than just, oh, I can dash, I can double jump, and I can also now teleport. So it's really cool. It's really interesting. I think Aletta is going to kind of be one of those really, like, her ceiling goes up a little more. She becomes a little harder to play, but at the same time, she has that like survivability to her. And I think this is actually going to be really fun to play with. All right, the next hero is Victor. Now, Victor did get some pretty interesting changes. So you can tell he has only 4 bullets or 4 shotgun shells as opposed to 5, but he shoots so much faster. So his rate of fire goes up. So he's able to just put out damage constantly. Like, it's super quick, a lot quicker than just the normal 3v3 Victor. And then as well, he has 2 dashes. So he'll be able to dash once and twice, which is also really cool. And then his second ability, his new ability, he twirls his shotgun and basically mitigates damage for a few seconds as he's twirling his shotgun. So you're not going to be able to fight during that time, but you are kind of in the fight. You're up close with Victor. You're doing your thing. You're shotgunning people down. And then, oh no, I'm getting really low. Let me just throw my shotgun around and put like this little barrier around yourself, and it basically mitigates incoming damage, so you can then kind of, maybe get out of the fight or, do whatever the case may be. But another cool thing is, since in 5v5 all the heroes are considered level 10, which means you're going to have those passives, and with Victor's passive, whenever you activate an ability, his gun fully reloads. So if I shoot 2 shots and I activate this, that also triggers his passive to reload, which is really cool because you can kind of chain these together. You can like boom, 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 let's get a reload, boom, boom, boom. And then instead of having that like, oh, let me reload, I could just pop this, get a reload, and then just keep going. And so you can chain all of his abilities really like quick back to back to back, which is really interesting. I think this is going to make Victor like a menace up close. And I've been having a lot of fun with him. All right, the next hero we're going to look at is Skatey, and Skatey is so much fun. I feel like her second ability kind of like really complements with her kit and actually like makes her even better than she already is. Now, one thing to keep in mind with 5v5, you only are able to use their first ultimates for all of the 11 heroes. You aren't able to use the second ultimates, so just keep that in mind. But with her new ability, she basically does this little flip. Whatever direction you're holding is the direction she'll flip in, and it does have like a 6-second cooldown, I believe. And the coolest thing about this is it reloads your gun. So if I flip, it automatically reloads my gun fully. So it just complements with her kit really well, and you can actually use it to like get out of certain situations. Like if you're being attacked, you can kind of like dodge sideways and like kind of throw the opponents off. And it's just so cool. The animation is really cool. I feel like a little Johnny Jet, but the fact that her gun is so strong and you can already have 7 bullets that you're shooting out, on top of which, you get those 7 bullets out, you maybe get a kill or 2, and then you flip, and then you're just immediately going again with those 7 more bullets, is just really strong. It's really interesting, and it makes her feel just fresh and new. So Skatey is so much fun in 5v5. All right, so the next hero we're going to go over is Iris. Now, Iris is actually really interesting because she did get a really big like rework. So normally with Iris in 3v3 game modes, or just how you've been playing her, she has that like fully automatic gun. Well, now it's just a single shot gun, but it does more damage. So it's very similar to like how Skatey's gun works as far as that single target damage. It does a decent amount of damage. It's somewhere around like 2,000 something. I don't remember the exact numbers, but as far as Iris is, an in general character in 5v5, I think she's going to be one of the most needed characters. The fact that you have healing on top of her new ability is really cool. It's hard to show in here, so I'll put gameplay on screen. But basically, you target an enemy, it puts these little squares or these little brackets around the enemies. And when you activate the ability on the enemies, her new second ability, it basically doesn't allow them for heals. Like you are a heal denier. And so it's very similar to like Zenyatta, if you guys have ever played Overwatch, where he has a heal, but he also has a deny or a debuff. This is similar. It's basically denying them from having any sort of healing. So, an Iris on the enemy team or even an enemy Chemist can't heal. I also don't know, but they might not be able to pick up health packs. I haven't really sort of seen that interaction happen, but it's on such a short cooldown that you can just constantly deny healing over and over and over again. It's really interesting. I think she's going to be really needed in 5v5, and she's just a lot more fun. I feel like this just kind of really complements her kit and just makes her overall a more fun hero. As far as other reworks are concerned, Jabali actually did get very differently changed. Like, he is very different. So his second ability is basically this like ground charging electric throw thing. I don't even know what to call it, but he has two of them. So they charge and they can stack, and he basically can just keep throwing these, and they deal pretty decent amount of damage. It's kind of be like sort of like an AoE type damage. And then his shield has 33,600 health, and I don't think it's any bigger by any means. We were looking at it last night in the Discord. I was showing everyone in my Discord, you know, we were live in there, and I was kind of showing them all this stuff. But someone mentioned Black Magic. He mentioned that it looked a little bigger. I can't confirm that, but it does look a lot bigger to me, which is really cool. Also, that huge health pool. Basically, Jabali is going to be just the shield. He's going to be a mobile sort of cover, if you will. You're basically going to just move with Jabali. He's going to have a ton of shield, and he's just going to sit on the point and do what he does best. Hold his hands up and block damage. Now, the cool thing is he doesn't lose any sort of movement speed like he normally does. I feel, or at least not as much. I feel like he's just a lot faster. He normally has a lot slower of a walk speed whenever you have your shield up, but I feel like it's a little faster than normal. So maybe they change that in order to kind of have him be a little more relevant. But his shield is just so beefy. And then another thing you'll notice is he only has 4 ammo in his gun. So basically, he's just constantly reloading rather than having that normal Jabali just, I'm going to hold that electricity on you and I'm just going to chain it and deal a ton of like tick damage. It reloads very fast, but it's constantly reloading. So you're not going to be using him for his gun. You're going to be using him for his shield and his little electric throwing ground things. But he's really fun. As for the last tank, Fort did get a really interesting second ability. So not only does he, you know, push out his shield, he does his normal Fort things, but he also has this fortify ability. We don't have the numbers on anything, and I can't view any of the info, like the ability info in game right now, because the new season hasn't come out. So all of those like ability info assets aren't in the test servers yet. But basically, he pops this like over shield armor looking thing. And from what I can tell, for those few seconds that you do have that over armor shield thing, he basically like soaks up damage or mitigates damage, if that makes sense. He basically just doesn't take as much damage as normal when you don't have this new ability active. So when you do activate this, like, he barely takes damage, but it only lasts a couple of seconds. So it's really interesting because it like kind of helps his survivability like up in the fight when he's up and close and kind of doing his thing. And it has a pretty decent cooldown. I mean, 12 seconds is long, but it stays up for what, 5 of those seconds. So by the time it runs out, you only really have like a 7-second cooldown on it, and you can just keep activating it, you know, keep throwing your shield, keep doing his thing, and then by the time it runs out, you have 7 seconds to cool down. You can do your thing, you can shoot, you can do all this stuff, and then you can just pop it again. So he's been really fun, he's been really interesting. It's definitely very different, but I actually really like it, and it looks really cool. All right, so the next hero I wanted to show you is Mark. Now, Mark is pretty crazy. He has a lot of really interesting new things. So normal Mark, you know, he shoots his gun, he shoots his little bomb. All that is normal, right? But his second ability is this like hoverboard, and it takes over your forward motion. So if I sit over here and I activate this and take my hands off of everything, he'll just move in a straight direction. Now, the cool thing about this is it doesn't have a cooldown, and we do know the numbers on this. It is a 40% speed boost. So when he activates this, you can just go around and you can jump with it as well. So you can get like some really interesting spots. And then as soon as you either shoot or kind of like move out of it, so if I'm in it and I move forward, like if I click forward, he'll stop moving. So you can stop it on a whim. He immediately stops. The cool thing about this is, like I said, no cooldown. So you can just keep going with this and keep using this, get out of like a fight or whatever, and then immediately jump into the fight, do some damage. Oh, I'm taking damage. Let me just skateboard out of here and just kind of look really cool while doing it. Come back over here, reposition. He's just, this is just really interesting. It definitely changes how Mark plays. And like I said, all heroes in 5v5 are going to be level 10 automatically, which means you do have his passive, which gives you that 500 plus health whenever you're out of the fight. So you're going to be just getting out of the fight really quick, healing up really easily, and then just getting back in the fight. So this is just really interesting. It's been a ton of fun to just kind of jump around and just skateboard across the map and do some fun things with it and, you know, try to do some tricks. But unfortunately, you can't kickflip with it, so that's unfortunate, but it is super, super cool. Now, my main man himself, Osos. Osos, yeah, he's my favorite hero in the game. I love sniping. I also love support, and I love being the tank, but when I have the opportunity to play Osos, I definitely am playing Osos. He is my favorite hero. He has a really, really cool second ability. So, you know, he does his normal things. He has his smoke. He can do his sniping. But he also has this jump ability, right? The jump is really cool because you can just do so much with it. And let me just answer your questions right now. No, you cannot get into the cheese little area up here. If I jump on these and jump up, it knocks me down and it pulls me off the roof. You can't go up there, which is good. And you're not going to have teleporters in 5v5. You can only use their first ultimate abilities. So I'll just clear that up now. You can't get up there. But the cool thing with this is you can do this in two different ways. I can jump, and while I'm mid-air, I can zoom in, and he starts to like hover and slowly descend, which is really interesting because it gives him that like that high ground at any moment. And once you pull the trigger, you'll just drop. I'll show you that real quick. Let me zoom in, pull the trigger, and then he just drops. But you can also activate this sort of like in-air freezing effect if you already are zoomed in. So if I'm already in like a sniper battle and I just pop this, I'll immediately go up to my highest point and then slowly descend. So you can activate it in two different ways, which is really interesting. And it's just so cool. Like if I'm coming from spawn, say I died and I'm like coming back from spawn and I hit this right here, I mean, I can get all the way to these stairs. So you can use it for not only mobility, but you can give it that height advantage. And you can also just use it as like a portable tower, and you're a sniper and you're getting like really cool kills. I think a lot of people are going to do like montages with this. And honestly, I was having so much fun with this. It is such a cool ability, and it's definitely my favorite one so far. Next up is Christina, and Christina has a similar effect to Osos. She basically jumps in the air. You can do this in any direction you're moving, and she'll like throw a little bomb down and like kind of boost yourself in the air. Now, the reason this is so cool is because you are playing those game types where there is an objective rather than just team deathmatch. And so you're going to know where the enemies are. If you're playing on control, you know that they're on the point. Whereas if you're playing like the payload escort, you know they're going to be trying to protect the cart. So a cool thing you can do with this, since you do only have her first ultimate, is you can actually like jump over the objective, whether it's, you know, the control point or the cart, and you can just throw your ultimate down mid-air on top of the objective and just get like a ton of really easy kills. And so I think this is actually really cool. It's almost like she's like a bomber plane when you do this. Like you can do like a jump over and shoot some grenades down, and it's really interesting. It has a really unique mechanic, and it actually is a lot of fun to just jump around and throw bombs at everyone. Now, next up is Yaw. Yaw has a really interesting new ability. So, you know, she does her normal things. She shoots, she dashes, all that's normal. But she does have this like front shield deflect thing, and it's so useful. It helps with her survivability. I've always noticed whenever I play Yaw that she doesn't really have a lot of survivability, and that's another reason why I play with her second ultimate a lot, is because you have that like almost like immunity phase for a few seconds. But you know, you only have her first ultimate in this, but it's just so cool to just pop this. It just deflect damage, and it just looks really cool. It has about a 12-second cooldown, so that's, you know, a decently long cooldown. for something this strong, but it definitely makes her feel like Genji from Overwatch. Very similar vibes now, where you can have that deflecting shield, sort of like how Genji kind of like deflects bullets. But this is just so cool. It's such a unique ability. All right, the last hero I wanted to show you guys is Chemist. Now, Chemist is very kind of similar to Iris. You know, so she has her normal shooting function. She has her normal little blast function that does like the burst healing or burst damage. But she also has a different sort of like shot effect that actually doesn't allow the healing to happen, or similar, where it like denies the healing, similar to Iris's new ability. And it's the same thing. You shoot this little thing out, has a 10-second cooldown. The only difference is Iris can single target people, and it's a very short cooldown, so she can just constantly single target people to not have that like that denial of healing. Where this is a splash effect, where you can almost like splash an entire little mob of enemies and deny them those healing. And it's actually really good whenever you're playing against another healer, because you can completely shut out the other healer from helping the team. So you're almost like turning off a support with a support. So Chemist is going to be pretty amazing in 5v5. Another cool thing is you can actually hold this the same way that you can hold her normal ability. So you can kind of angle it, and it actually goes really far. So you can get some really decent damage, or some really decent range with this. It doesn't deal any damage as far as I could tell. It just kind of denies that healing effect to be able to be applied to them. And again, there wasn't really an instance that came up where I hit someone with this and they went for a health pack, but it's potentially possible to where you can't pick up health packs when you're under this effect. And again, none of the numbers, we don't know any of the numbers as far as any of this is concerned. We don't have any sort of ability info that we can actually check in yet to see how much this does, or even like descriptions of all of these new abilities. But that will be coming on March 2nd when the launch of Season 5 happens. And we'll have all the different descriptions that we can go through and actually get like a solid definition or a solid description as to what each of these abilities does. But Chemist seems like she's going to be really good. I think a really good team comp will be maybe Jabali for that mobile shield. Then you have an Iris for just the area of effect healing. A Chemist to heal everyone and also deny those like big groups when you have like team battles. And then Yaw was pretty fun. I think Skatey is actually going to be really interesting in this whole entire 5v5 meta. And then Mark was actually really fun too. And of course, Aletta is going to be really good with her new little recall effect. I personally love Osos, so I think he was actually really fun. I think this is going to be very different, and I'm super excited for you guys to try it out. It is so much fun. All right, guys, that was the first look at the new 5v5 game type coming with Season 5. We only have a couple more days. It's like almost 5-6 days, 5.5 days left. March 2nd, put it on your calendars. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to be covering all the new stuff. We're going to get Fade to level 10 probably on day 1, so you guys can check out what he does. I'll do a whole little overview similar to how I did with the Kelvin video where I got him to level 10. We're just gonna be checking it all out, man. The new skins, all the new stuff coming with Season 5 is just so much fun. I can't wait to jump in. Also, join the Discord, because I want to put together like little 5v5 like private games. If you guys want to jump in, we could play with a bunch of different people in the community. Also, the Discord is just a fun time. We have a lot of fun people over there, and you can find, you know, different people to play with at any given moment. So definitely check out the description for my Discord and join in for all the fun. But yeah, guys, 5v5 hype. It's super fun. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with it. A lot of good times. A lot of funny things are going to happen with 5v5. And it is a completely different meta. So if you do have any questions on any of the things, I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But like I said, we don't have any ability info currently in the game accessible on the test server. So I can't see the exact numbers or see the exact descriptions of any of the new abilities, but I'll try to answer any questions that you guys have in the description or in the comments. Pro YouTuber. But I'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, peace out, guys.